Welcome to lesson 1.8 of our future ready digital skills. When Wi-Fi is slow or unreliable, many offices and institutions switch to cables. In this lesson, I will explain Ethernet cables, connectors, and standards in a simple way so you understand what they are, how to recognize them, and when they are used. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to understand what Ethernet is, identify common Ethernet cables and connectors, understand why wired connections are still important, recognize basic Ethernet standards, connect devices safely using network cables. So what then is Ethernet? Ethernet is basically a technology used to connect devices to a network using cables. And this is commonly used in offices, schools, computer labs, internet cafes, and some of our homes. Ethernet connections are usually faster and more stable than Wi-Fi. Now I want us to take a look at Ethernet cables and connectors. Ethernet cables usually look similar. So this is an example of an Ethernet cable, but they are designed specifically for networking. So the most common Ethernet cables are often called a LAN cable, which is local area network. And it's usually in blue, gray, or yellow, and it has connectors at both ends, as you can see with these cables that you see on your screen, and which is what we call the RJ45 connector. So the connector at the end of the cable is called the RJ45. So this is the RJ45, and it usually clicks into place when inserted correctly. So once you insert it correctly, it clicks into place. So never force a cable if it doesn't fit. Turn it around. Okay. Now let's look at the basic Ethernet standards. So Ethernet cables come in different categories, which we often call the Cat cables. Okay, so the common categories, this is just a beginner awareness only. So you have the Cat5e, which is common and reliable. And we've got a Cat6, which is faster and better for busy networks. You don't need to memorize these, just recognize the labels. Higher categories usually support faster speeds. So that's an example of the Cat5e and the Cat6. It comes with this. So when we get into networking proper, where you will learn how to create these cables using the white, orange, white, green, blue, white, brown, but we'll get into that as we advance through this series. So where Ethernet is used. So Ethernet is commonly used when stability is important, and many people connected and large files are being transferred on that network, and in situations where your Wi-Fi signals are weak. That's why offices and institutions often rely on Ethernet. So how do we handle these safely, and some common mistakes that we need to avoid? And here are a few tips. So please don't pull cables roughly. If you pull it, you're going to destroy it. And avoid bending cables sharply. And you don't need to step on cables. So always unplug gently. So damaged cables can cause slow or unstable connections. So there's just a hands-on practice that you need to do. You pause the video and just check around you if you can identify an Ethernet cable. That is, if you have one. then locate the Ethernet port on your computer or router. So if you have a router at home and you are using cables, locate it and see if you can gently plug and unplug the cable. And this is helping you build familiarity and confidence. So now let's wrap up and let's look at what we've achieved today. So you know what Ethernet is and how to identify Ethernet cables and connectors, and an understanding of basic Ethernet cable categories. You can Google and find out more about the various categories, and when wired connections are useful, and how to handle cables safely. So in the next lesson, we will look at troubleshooting connection issues, what to check when the internet is not working. So if this lesson helped you, please subscribe to the channel to receive all new lessons as I release them. Let's continue building your digital confidence step by step. Thank you for staying through, and God bless. Bye-bye, and see you in my next lesson.